that y'all have been getting, and you ain't got nothing from me. So we've been strategically, going over there on me from a certain standpoint, when it comes to television and this and these things portray, womanizing, arrogance, et cetera, et cetera. So that's all y'all gonna get from anything that I say at one point. But from the explanations, hopefully it take you to a little bit of, a different level. So I actually had to write this down and make sure that I get it across clear to y'all about what's going on, what's going on, because anything that I say, and apparently anything that I don't say, can come off as, arrogant, it could come off as narcissistic. So, when you just let other people tell your narratives, things can go so far one way. So I give it to y'all as we wrote it down and do what we got to do. Man, some of y'all just, I don't know what y'all, gosh. So like I said, even me speaking about what I'm speaking about is still humble yourself. Y'all have no idea. But so I'll give it to you the same way that I put it out, or the same way that I put it together. So without further ado, so as many of y'all have seen in the last week, it came out that that I had slept with a friend of mine's ex, and also the mother of his child, which happened to also be my godson's mother. That was true. There were situations where that happened almost about 2 years ago, and then more recently, within the last 2 months. And then y'all got this last week, and it's been seemingly as much as it was coming out repetitively that I wasn't saying nothing about it and that I didn't care. That wasn't the situation. That's far from what it is. I think literally when y'all got the information, I was in Vegas. But one big part about that is that, myself and all the parties involved, we had talked. We had talked because this had come about a week and a half before that, so between myself, my friend, the woman involved, my kid's mom involved, and then some of our other friends, we had all talked. It was a bigger situation that was going on throughout that whole last week and a half. So, we had all talked. Most of y'all know, especially from Chicago, y'all know Anthony and I as, friends. Some of y'all know us as brothers. Y'all known us as friends for a long time. So the weight of this situation, for what it is, was just heavy. It was heavy, but we dealt with it. I think the main initial purpose was that when y'all got it, I was still in Vegas, and it was coming out day by day by day on blogs about this, and I didn't say anything. I wasn't addressing it. To y'all understanding, we had already addressed it. It seemed like I didn't talk to him, or we didn't speak or anything like that. We had been talking every day since, it came out a week and a half before that, so we had been talking about our friendship. We had been talking about, our mistakes. We had been talking about, our brotherhood. How do we continue on as friends? What's going on with our children? So, we had been talking about it for at least a week, every day, even up until that day, so when it came out to y'all, for unbeknownst reasons, that, it wasn't for me to directly go and counter, what made him go and put that to the internet. Him and I had already talked about it. Him and I had addressed it. It wasn't me running from it. It wasn't me not talking to him. We had already addressed it. We had been addressing it repetitively over the last, week. So, but just now, when you're in these positions, you got to relive what's going on. So now I had to relive it with y'all. Y'all had to take it. And this is just me taking the accountability to let y'all know that we talked about it. We went through it. Y'all just got it maybe a week and a half later. But then we were like, let's see how we can take it forward. again, I wrote all this down because I got to be strategic in how I speak to people, because everything could be taken as narcissistic or arrogant. In these situations, like, I am somebody that avoids harder things. I don't be liking to talk about things at face value when it's coming on like that. Like when the blogs are dropping, and I was out in Vegas, it's like, all right, man, just let them do what they got to do. I wasn't even on the internet. And if I was just posting what I was doing, so what was I saying? So like, just to the people that support me, like, it would seem like my behavior since this came out is, has just been a arrogant, pompous attitude. Like, so what? I don't care. That's not it. That hasn't been it. That's not what grown men do. It's just ignore it. Like, no, we had addressed it before and I could address it again. I just wasn't addressing it when the issue came out publicly, with the notion that it came out. Overall, no matter what the situation is, I can't go into so many different things about why and how. I'm in a position where anything that I say is not going to matter to y'all, whether it be, my mental instability or where I might have been at that point. Overall, it was me fucking up badly, ultimately real badly. I hurt people that I care about badly. I disrespected them, disrespected myself, disrespected my family, all of our families. I just, even in the times where these things come up, it's like, you ask yourself a million times, like, why did I, and why do I hurt people that I care about? And these are things that, people go through. Just in my position, nothing can't be any wrong. So, it's just like, but these are things I've had to deal with myself. I don't want to make any excuses for what I've done. But everybody keep asking, like, it's like two explanations for it. So people who know me most and people who know me the closest, know that over times, and a lot of times even because I hide it very well, I've been in some pretty dark places at certain times. I battled with, my internal mental health for a couple years, years and years, a lot of things that I haven't dealt with. And ultimately, the most toxic choices are made, while you're in dark places. Overall, hurt people. So, and that's across the board for whatever you do. What I do know overall is that, this moment or that moment doesn't define me. I won't allow for it to define me as a whole. People who know me or people who are around me understand that, I'm dealing with a lot of my unresolved trauma. I'm dealing with my depression and how that goes. When we were in these situations, as friends, Anthony and I were the only ones who were able to bounce each other's depression off of each other. And like I said, just given the situations, with us being friends, it only allowed me to limit myself for what, I could reciprocate from what he was given and what I could receive, because we had these things over us. It's not from the outside view and from clickbait. Like, if you from Chicago, you know how close we are, how in tune we are, the situations of us and, our relationships and what we go through. So, I could only give so much back when I'm holding something over me for somebody that I love. And it's like, man, I got to get this out, so it's only going to be that. Somebody said, this definitely defines you, I guess. So just to be clear, I'm not the victim in this. Everybody else who surrounds me was. This particular moment is definitely not about me. It's about me apologizing publicly, because so many people will feel that I didn't say anything, or so many people that I felt that I didn't care. This is about me apologizing publicly. If y'all feel like I've apologized to Anthony, we talked a lot after this happened. Y'all just got it a little bit later. So we talked a lot. So people to think that I didn't apologize to him for my mishaps and my mistakes, we definitely talked. We talked as friends, we talked as brothers, we talked as family for what I did and for what situation I was in. So I definitely spoke on that. When it releases, y'all not going to get it like that. So this is me publicly letting y'all know that I did apologize to him. Apologizing to y'all for being able to get something like this no matter how far the mess up is, it's just, I hurt a lot of people when it came to that, So I'm apologizing publicly for the same way I've apologized privately, for the embarrassment that I've caused, the pain that I've caused everybody. My plan of action is to repair relationships, ones that couldn't be repaired. Like I said, a lot of people were hurt behind this, family, friends. But that's something I got to take on the chin. You know what I mean? Just like I said, in the situation of myself, Anthony, my kids, mom, all of our families that's involved, I hurt a lot of people, I embarrassed a lot of people. And, the plan of action is to repair some of those relationships, but, all of them won't be able to be repaired. So that's just something we got to live with. At this moment, we all dealing with the consequences of my actions, all in the form of humiliation, torn families and ended relationships. So I just want to clear the air, not for y'all, but for me, to own my shit. Accountability means the most. Ultimately, my goal is to learn, how to get out of my lows and, my levels of depression. And overall, quit self-sabotaging, and never hurt people again that I love the most. That self-sabotage is a motherfucker. And, for how I take on the world and then I embody it and don't put nothing off to nobody else, you probably start imploding from within with self-sabotaging, So this is just another way that I've done that. So I'm not giving no tea. It's so much more to all of this that that y'all don't know, that y'all won't know. So much more to all this. It's not about tea. It's not about me victim blaming. It's not about me pointing the finger. It's not about me, telling who did what. It's a lot of things that led up to a lot of this stuff. But like I said, people are going to feel the way they feel. I wanted to give the people who have supported me, the people who do support me and that will possibly continue to support me, their own insight on whether they feel they could or they should, or if they wasted their time doing it, and everybody won't. So from that, I would hope that people receive what I've given them as that. And, they can make a decision on their own. Like I said, it'll still get this, fuck you and you bogus G and all this shit like that. And I understand it, but like I said, it's not about this. It's not about me. This is about giving people who didn't have an understanding when things were coming out like this about Ryan, what Ryan felt about it, what Ryan's reactions were. And I just wasn't just go run to the internet and just react publicly about something that had already been dealt with within our circle. So, yeah, that's it. Wasn't no tea. I wasn't finna tell y'all no details on what the fuck type of shit y'all be asking. So, yeah, it was nothing to continue lying about. When a situation doesn't define your character, you walk with that shit. So, and how some people might understand, like, you'll be walking with that shit every day. So me trying to grow a friendship, no matter how up and down our friendship was, trying to grow a friendship with somebody you care about and you've got something on you, that was a big void in ours. So for me, it was something that had definitely needed to be done. Not necessarily in the way that it did, but, it was definitely needed to be done. It was something that we were been supposed to talk about. I can care less about the internet and the way they feel about it. Y'all gonna say what y'all want. I log in every day and people speak about, my kids should die. I'm going to hell, fuck, anything and everything, die. 20,000 comments about how I should die and this and that. Yeah, but like I said, I just wanted to give it to y'all. When it goes out to blogs, I don't know how it's going to be. But, I would hope y'all receive it the way that I tried to cut the losses as much as possible. So moving forward, I'll see y'all when y'all check back in.